All right, they named the street after me. Here it is, Cruz Court. So I took this entire neighborhood. It was one house on 9 acres. Then I was able to convert it actually to 25 houses. So it went from 1 to 25 houses, and then actually to 39 houses. And then I got it approved at 41 houses, sold it to KB Homes for $1.25 million, okay? And then later on, I found out they actually named the entire street after my family, Cruz Court. Yes, super cool. If you ever want to look this up on their Google, you can. 7187 Cruz Court was the actual first property built. So the reason why I'm on here now and kind of sharing with you is not only how did I create this entire neighborhood, but to let you know I'm a developer. I am an investor. This is what I've been doing ever since I got out of the military. And so what I've learned is what matters in anything when it comes down to real estate development or any kind of real estate profession. If you are a real estate professional and you are spending money on marketing, let's say you're spending $7,500 a month or more on marketing, your goal is to get one lead, but that lead needs to go to cash in bank, period. That is what matters at the end of the day. So what I've learned is, like, for this entire property, I've done so many transactions that a referral came to me about this one house on this large piece of land, which was 9 acres. And I'm sorry, it's a little bit bright outside. That's why I got my glasses on, but I'll take them off. Let's see how this works. And so what happened was I was able to negotiate with the actual seller, do creative financing from this lead, and then I was able to lock it up under contract and then have special terms. I actually bought it for $650,000, and then I did creative financing. She actually held the note. I gave her like $50,000 up front, and then I had payments throughout the time frame. Now, while I was going through this, personally, I was actually going through a major separation from a 15-year marriage. I did not want to get a divorce. And so mentally I was going through it. Now I'm actually creating this deal and creating this structure. And now at the same time too, I'm not gonna lie to you, this was my first big, large development deal, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I had to kill my ego, ask a lot of questions, and figure out what do I do to even get it to here to here. My ego wanted to develop this, but I ain't gonna lie, I had no idea what I was doing. So I called the next person that I knew to help me. His name was Uncle Donnie. He was actually a family member, but not from my side, from my now ex-wife's side. And I called Uncle Donnie and said, look, I know that you've done something. You had some kind of knowledge about development, and he did. And so what happened is he gave me some knowledge. I was able to figure out, like, oh, who is a civil engineer? You know, he's like, you got to talk to a civil engineer. In my head, I'm like talking about attorneys now. And it's not. It's civil engineer is a totally different profession. And that civil engineer showed me, say, hey, what's possible is you could possibly have the approvals and entitlements for 25 houses or more. Long story short, when I found that out, I was able to actually have some discussions with some national home builders through some commercial brokers. And from that, they said, look, if you can get more units, they'll pay you more per lot. I was like, awesome. And I have no idea what to do next or where I'm going to get the money from this because I'm going through a divorce. What do I do? So I'm completely, at that time, stressed out, okay? But for me, what came up was, oh yeah, look, if you're thinking about even if you're spending money on marketing right now, over $7,500, and you're not converting those leads to cash in bank, right now, I've got an entire acquisition process that is just working. So you can go to trueinvestors.com, apply for it, go to trueinvestors.com and apply to see if we could work together. Because now what I found out was during this entire process, and then I've done over 140 other transactions, the biggest missing that I'm seeing with real estate professionals and real estate developers is not just leads, but it's actually having companies to understand how we work. What we care about is, hey, how can I take a lead? But then how can I take a lead and convert it into something that creates some kind of legacy? Cruz Court, $1.25 million, like that's legacy play, which I wasn't looking for that. I didn't ask them to name the street after me, okay, at all. I wasn't part of the plan. That actually came way later, and it was a blessing. But let me get back into the story with Uncle Donnie. So when he let me know that, and then I had the conversations with commercial brokers, what they told me was like, get more lots, more people will bid on it. And that's exactly what we attempted to do. So we went from one house to a conceptual plan that's showing what's possible to 39 houses. Then D.R. Horton, when we drew out the plan, we had an exit and an entrance in 2 different slots. Okay, so we actually had it like this. The original subdivision was not going to be in one entrance and one exit. He said if you turn it like this and have one entrance and one exit, and then have your lift station to the side with your retention pond over here, and we had a little bit of wetlands over here. I know it's a little bit more advanced, but if you don't understand, you'll get it later on. And so when we did this, it gave us 2 more lots. That converted over to 41 houses. So that's how we got 41 on 9 acres. Now there was a lot more to it. You got to make sure you got utilities, access roads. There was an anchor store, and no, an anchor store is not a place that sells anchors. It's actually like, it's an area that brings in a lot of people like Walmart, Target. Those are anchor stores. That's what you want. And so this was like a perfect scenario. And I was able to find the private money, find everything, create this entire deal, sell it off for $1.25 million. And I was the one actually negotiating with KB Homes. So I learned a ton. And after that, then I got into another big development. And after that, I got into another big development, 20 other developments that I've been involved in over that now. What hit me was like, this is amazing. And why don't more people do that? And what came up for me was knowledge. They really do not, it takes over $1 million, like legit money, to actually play in this game. And you don't even know if you're gonna profit. So you have to learn it at a very high level. Even from taking one house, which we recently did, I took one house, it was right here, this one house, and then we converted it over to actually 3 lots. So it was 1, 2, 3 lots, because we didn't own that part. Well, if you have that knowledge, now what did I just do? I just tripled my value. Now, with this knowledge, what did I do? I actually 41x my value when I did this deal, right? Double from 650 to this was technically double, but the value add was huge and the impact on the community was huge. But it all started from that lead source. It all started from me. Actually, I'm actually the one that I had to learn this the hard way when it came down to mastering marketing. And the main reason why, what I found was after hiring marketing agencies, these marketing agencies aren't developers. They're not investors. They don't have 20 years in the game, right? So I started tracking this since October 1st, 2018 for myself. I actually did not want, I had an idea and a plan that I wanted to be a national player, right? I wanted to be like the KB Homes, the D.R. Horton. But after dealing with them and after looking at what the efficiency ratio is to become that national player, I had to really kill my ego on this, and I'm talking to Chad on this one too. So I had to kill my ego and learn and understand, like, I don't believe this is gonna happen in my lifetime. Like, I'm 46 right now, but I don't even think I could ever go nationally in my lifetime if it was only me thinking about my company. So what I decided to do is I said, look, I don't think I can do this in my lifetime, but what if I can actually show them the entire acquisition process and take care of people's marketing in the back end. So our team handles the marketing, show you the entire acquisition process, and then you do it in your area. Now I can expand the knowledge that I have learned so you can take that with you as well. And that's what it's all about. So now if you're interested, only if you're spending $7,500 or more a month on marketing, this is going to work. If you're not spending at least $7,500 or more on marketing, no worries. It's just we won't be able to work together. That's all good. Because at the end of the day, what I've learned is you got to be able to put marketing dollars behind deals. That's how you're going to be getting huge exits. You know, other properties I've done huge multiples on your profit margin because you've got to put the money out there so you could have what I call predictable leads coming in. So then it goes from predictable leads to signed agreement, to scheduled appointments, to signed agreements, to cash in bank, period. So lead, now you got a signed agreement. Now you have cash in bank going right into your account and you keep on rinse and repeat. So you need a predictable system. Well, I have created that. And I could like honestly say it's taken me years to master it. But if you don't believe me, I 100% guarantee you this. If we work together and you qualify that we could work together and you do not get leads, qualified leads that turn into signed agreements, okay? That's lead to signed agreements to cash in bank, period. If you're not getting that, I'll give you your money back, period. I know 100% that this works because I've been testing it with over 140 plus transactions. Right now, we only have 117 on the website. So if you want to apply, go to trueinvestors.com. Again, trueinvestors.com. You're going to see a questionnaire, fill it out. We'll have a conversation. If we could work together, great. If we can't, awesome. No worries at all. I'm still going to put out this free content because for me, as somebody that I had my mother pass away when I was 10 years old, I understand that nobody's promised tomorrow. So I'm going to put as much information as possible so you could still win. All I can tell you is this: on the back end, when it comes to marketing, I know for a fact there's no marketing agency that actually has a leader with the entire acquisition process that's a developer. Period. You know why? Because at the end of the day, we don't have to do this. I'm doing this because I want to show you guys the operating system. And if I can expand exactly our process so you could start doing commercial deals or learning how to get multiple deals, creative financing, but don't worry about your lead source anymore. Like, you actually have somebody who's on your team that if we could work together, great. So my name is Franklin Cruz, again, from trueinvestors.com. And yeah, that really is my street.